Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Daily Debate. Tonight, of course, my name is Ahmed Nader, and tonight we will be commemorating and celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory against Israel, and of course how it paved the way for the path of development and the achievements that we have seen ever since, and more specifically over the past decade under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi entering the new republic. And tonight I am honored to be having with me in the studio is Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, the economic and development expert. Thank you very much for being with us tonight.
Thank you, Ahmed. It's a pleasure to be here with you, with all Egyptians in the Nile TV to celebrate this glorious day of the history of Egypt, which I'm happy personally that I have lived these days, really, and I can feel how the spirit of Egyptians were at that gorgeous days.
How did it feel back then?
Oh my God! I remember I was still in the prep school, yes. And it was really very nice days because we have seen, I mean, 6 years of as we say, that the Egyptian people have lost their dignity, and yes. With October War, we have regained again the dignity and our land. That's why I have, of course, to ask God to bless the souls of martyrs and injuries, and President Sadat, President Mubarak, all the army leaders and the soldiers and the Egyptians at that time, who really we will never forget and we will always remember their sacrifices, I mean, which they have given to recharge and regenerate the identity of the Egyptian and give all the power and determination to us.
Yes, Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, allow me to be going to the top stories for today that took place, and we will be taking a comment regarding them from you afterwards, as on the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi gave a speech marking the occasion. Sisi saluted the armed forces generations and the families of the armed forces martyrs for sacrificing their souls for the nation. He also saluted late President Anwar al-Sadat, the hero of peace and war who restored the Egyptian lands. In his speech, the President said that a just peace is the only path to guaranteeing sustainable peaceful coexistence among the peoples of the region. He said that Cairo's stance is firm with regards to the necessity of establishing an independent Palestinian state as the only means of achieving peace and security. Meanwhile, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi also said that the October war victory will remain a turning point in the Egyptian modern history and the symbol of its pride. On his official social media account marking the war anniversary, the President congratulated the Egyptians and said that the armed forces personnel and the leadership made great sacrifices to restore the land of Sinai and were supported by the great people of Egypt. He said that harmony between the people and the army has been the shield for the Egyptian state throughout history. And First Lady Intisar al-Sisi congratulated the Egyptian people and the armed forces on the anniversary of the 6th of October war victory. On her official social media account, she expressed pride in the heroism of the armed forces, saying that Egypt is celebrating an eternal achievement in the history of the nation. She said that this achievement is the culmination of efforts by the men who believed in the nation and its independence. She also paid tribute to the martyr souls and the people who always stand by the army. Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, how did you see the statements made by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, including his speech today on the anniversary, the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory?
I think that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is reminding, the new generations with the spirit of October War and how the Egyptian people with the army together have succeeded to regenerate the identity of Egypt and the Egyptians.
Yes.
Let me tell you that we are not here only to celebrate the 51st anniversary of October War, but we are celebrating every crucial day in the history of the Egyptians who have regenerated our determination, if we can say. So we have to remember also in 2013 when the Egyptians have rallied on with their army leaders to refuse and reject any negative influence that could steal the personality and the identity of the Egyptians, and together with these spirits of both October War and with 2013 revolution, we are keeping on and trying to complete the new republic, if we can say.
Yes, and during the speech of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, he always speaks about the region as well, the Middle East, the Arab region, and the problems that we are facing, of course, in Palestine on the first anniversary of the Israeli genocide war against Gaza. It will be tomorrow on the 7th of October. But President al-Sisi spoke about the importance and the necessity of having an independent Palestinian state. What is the importance of speaking about Palestine, about speaking about what is happening in Gaza and, of course, more recently in Lebanon on the anniversary of the October war victory?
We always know the history, and Egypt have been always responsible and taking care of the area in general. We are not even, as we say, the core of the Arab countries, but also we are feeling the sacrifices which our people in Gaza or in Lebanon nowadays, in Syria, we have seen that, and we have to say that in October War it was not only a war to attack, it was to defend and to try to regain our dignity and land.
Yes.
While others are going to war to burn and to try to get more land. So, and at the end we have reached peace. At the end, Egypt have reached peace, which have helped everybody to stabilize and to try to develop his countries. So that's why maybe I think that today is a message from His Excellency Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to those who are burning the land and burning the communities and burning the societies. We have to be more wise and we have to live all together in peace. And what is happening now will always create more haters in the future for the generations. We have always to look for what is done in Egypt. We are improving our country. We are working in several fields, in urban, in construction, in Medicare, in education. So this is the way states should develop themselves, by peace and by construction, not by war.
Yes, and of course, peace led to the development and the construction that we are seeing nowadays. Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, allow me to be going to the first report of the daily debate for tonight, focusing on celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory, and one victory led to another one in the battlefield to the war of development that we are witnessing nowadays. So stay tuned, we'll be having this in the upcoming report and more details. Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate and the very special episode celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory in 1973. And we have seen over the past report, Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, the link between the past, the present and the future. How do you think this glorious occasion could be an inspiration to the generations living and for the upcoming generations as well, to be overcoming the obstacles and having more development and achievements?
For sure, as I mentioned, that the generation which lived in the 70s and 80s, they understand this spirit, but for the new generations, we have to tell them always.
Yes.
But as we say that if in a war there is a war plan, in the peace there is always strategies, and there is always action plans which we are taking at the time being to try to build the new republic, if we can say. So it goes in the same way. Without any plans or without any studies or visibility studies, you cannot achieve the victory or the success.
Yes.
So at the time being, of course, the modern vision of the development for the country, which the new generation is now leading for that. Of course, I think that we need a lot of programs, but at least if we talk and separate between the urban developments which have been taking place in Egypt since 2014, maybe we have been mentioning before that really President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is having a more wider view to try to remap the allocation of Egyptians all over Egypt.
Yes.
So at least I can tell that about 35 new cities of the fourth generation have been built. And lately we see that every year there is new 2 or 3 cities which is trying to expand in the area of Egypt. We have been always talking that we are only living near the Nile Valley and only on 4 or 5% of the area of Egypt.
Yes.
But at the time being, we are expanding with a lot of projects, a lot of roads in all services. The new cities are really are having all the services and the activities which any modern citizen he should deserve. So they are restructuring the map. They are trying to have a balance in the standard of living between the governorates. We have been always talking about Upper Egypt is having less income and,
yes,
and more poverty, but at the time being we have seen a lot of mega projects is spread it in all the governorates, I can tell. So it's really it's a big achievement if you go out the valley and if you try to expand, if you have to give all the activities and the services. Every city have its industrial zone, has its medication service, educational programs, they have the agriculture land, they have the entertainment and tourism, with the hypermarkets and integrated activities.
Yes.
So at the end, you are really having a new republic, if you can say. If you talk about cities, I mean everybody in, we have to mention New Asyut, we have to mention New Bani Suef, New Minya, New Kena.
New capital.
Yeah, and the administrative capital,
yes,
and now New Alamein, and now Ras Al Hikma. So we are spread it everywhere, and I think that for any fair observer, he can say that Egypt really is another model and another type of, if we can say, updated country based on the technology. If we talk about agriculture, there is a lot of mega projects, and despite the challenges of the water and the underground water, but we are using the smart ways of rational irrigation and intensive horticulture to try to increase our productivity. So that's why I always say that Egypt in the agriculture I'm sorry, is not only playing a national role, but it's playing international role, because
yes,
there is a food crisis all over the world. So we are increasing our productivity, we are increasing our reclaimed land. We are using the updated technologies in irrigation to try to decrease the consumption and to try to increase the productivity. So at the end, there is a lot to talk, if we talk about education, if we talk about construction, about Medicare, about every aspect and every mega project is always, as we say, that it's concerned about the economical and the social influence for the people. So,
yes, speaking about the new republic with new cities, 35 new cities, the urban development that we have seen over the past 10 or 11 years under the tenure of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, what is the importance of the political stability that we have seen ever since 2014 in terms of being reflected on the economy and vice versa, because they are both important to each other?
Let me tell you that, of course, that the peace and stability is two main pillars which is really very important for any improvement and development.
Yes.
So, and we see what is happening in our area. So Egypt now is receiving about 10 million visitors, if you can say. And of course they are welcomed, and they are in a way with the new digitalizing system.
Yes.
Thanks God for that, because now you can see that the civil status and the immigration departments are very well organized, so you have a full data about the Egyptians and the immigrants. So, and this is very important to have a correct data at the end if you build any strategies. But of course you have to point in this status that the geopolitical crisis is always affecting, I mean, the area. And even in Europe, we have seen that the results of the elections in the European, many of the European countries are going to the right party.
Yes.
And the right party is more or less
against the illegal migration,
mitigating, if we can say, the immigration, and mitigating that. And as we say that the immigration will never ever stop from south to north, but it will come to a limit and stop. That means that they will come more to Egypt and the northern African countries. So that's why we have always to see what is going on, and the political stability and the geopolitical crisis could damage, I mean, our achievement, but Egypt is still on the way and is still moving and moving.
Yes, Engineer Mostafa, you've mentioned that the role that is being played by Egypt is an international role in terms of the urban development that we are witnessing, the construction that we have seen over the past 10 years. What do you mean by international role? Because, of course, the Egyptians, they know that there is a difference in terms of their daily lives. So we have the national role that we have seen through bridges, through cities, through networks. The regional role we can understand. You've mentioned that there are a lot of visitors, a lot of refugees, if they can stay here in the country for a limited time, or maybe an unlimited time as well. But how can it be an international role, the urban development that we are witnessing?
We have mentioned before that there is no availability, big availability of land to be reclaimed all over the world.
Yes.
There is a lot of areas are desert or turn it to desert. We see the climate change, which is affecting the whole world. It is affecting the land, affecting the water supply, affecting the productivity also of the area, of the acre. So at the end, when I say Egypt is playing that, because we remember that in 2013, Egypt was only about 7.58 million acres of feathers, and today we are reaching 12 million. And we have to say that thanks God, with the good weather we have in Egypt, we are planting 2 times per year in most of our areas, so are giving a production of equal to 22 million feathers. And this is upgrading the standard of Egypt to the level of 30 among 195 countries all over the world. So that's why Egypt is now a very big exporter of fruits and vegetables. We are #1 in the production of of citrus exporter, number 3 in the onion all over the world. We are one of the 10 in other several potatoes and strawberries and other fruits and grapes. Okay, and so at the end, Egypt, as I say, is not playing a national role, and that's why the European Union is always in contact with Egypt to try to improve the quality and the level of the requirements which they need, and they are successfully. We see that in the coming 2 days there is a big exhibition in Madrid, Spain, and about 70 Egyptian companies are participating there. And 2 weeks ago there was another delegation from the Italian Trade Center, and they are going to establish a center, a technology center for agriculture based on the rational irrigation and the intensive horticulture. So at the end, they know that Egypt is always having a chance to try to cover their demands, because Europe, they don't have enough land at the moment. They have nothing to try to increase. So what they are doing is that we are calling that they are doing more and more vertical improvement to try to increase the quality, but the climate change are damaging them more than Egypt. So at the end, we have to work all together. We have to live all together. We have to be in peace all together. And this is a message which, thanks God, today we are 6th of October, we have to say to the Israeli people, please try to live in peace and to stop killing others, because at the end we have to live together. But we have to live based on peace, based on justice and fairness.
Yes, mentioning the 6th of October war victory against Israel in 1973, we had a challenge, and of course rumors back then. We had a part of the country in terms of Sinai lost to the Israelis, and we regained it, and we regained our land and pride in 1973. But between 1967 and 1973 we had a lot of rumors, and nowadays, ever since 2013 and maybe 2011 as well, and up till now, we have a lot of rumors as well, more specifically on social media. How do you think we should be learning the lesson and raising awareness, especially for the youth, to be facing the rumors and overcoming the obstacles in order to be having more achievements and development?
Whoever is on the social media and not convinced what is done in Egypt, now the situation is much more easier, even with the social media negative impact. But because easily you can move and you can see by your own eyes what is done in everywhere. Some people, they are just sitting on the sofa, as we say, and they are just talking and talking and talking. We always say that you have to work. You don't have to stop. Even with the rumors between 67 and 73, many people was working a lot. Many people were not sleeping until at the end they have achieved the victory. So we don't have to stop. If these people want to come and see what is done, they have to come to see what is in the agriculture field, what is done. I mean, the whole world is really very proud of what is done in Egypt and also in Morocco and in other countries in Africa. And that's why I always say that Egypt was in a way to speak on behalf of the continent. We are not only responsible of our region. No, Egypt is a very organized country, and as we say, I mean a country which have a history of reclaiming and of organizing situation and systems. So Egypt was in a way on COP27 to speak on behalf of the continent about what the continent need, because I mean at the end we are here in Egypt following all the measures which is needed about decreasing the carbon emissions and about trying to decrease the consumption of fertilizers. So we are following the updated technology. Now who is saying that, oh, some Egyptian crops or fruits are damaged or something like that, I can answer easily that the numbers does not lie. 2-3 years ago, we were exporting 5 million tons. And we will finish this year by 9 million tons. It's about
the double.
100%, the double.
Yes.
So the numbers will never, ever lie. And we are increasing our production in wheat. We are trying to come to a sufficiency level of about 60% of the cereal.
No need to be importing.
Yeah, yeah. But at the end, we are having an economical equation. If you reclaim land, okay, you can increase some of the pulses, which is very cheap.
Yes.
I mean, the wheat and the maize is ranging between $150 to $200. But if you export strawberry, you are talking about $2,000. So it's an economical equation, how to benefit from each square meter of the land and each cubic meter of water. It's a political, I mean, and economical equation.
Yes, and this will be leading to the New Republic. Allow me to be going to the other report of the daily debate for tonight, focusing on the New Republic, which is a new dawn for development for Egypt. We'll be having more details in the upcoming report. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still watching the Daily Debate, and I'm honored to be having with me over the program Engineer Mostafa and Naggari, the economic and the development expert. Thank you very much once again for being with us tonight.
It's a pleasure.
We have seen over the past report the link between the 6th of October war victory, and throughout the episode for tonight, we have linked between the past, the victory in the past, the present, and the future. How do you see the importance of supporting the armed forces by the Egyptian people in 1973, in 2011, in 2013, modern history as well, not just the past?
Yeah, as I mentioned, that Egyptian people are always rally on their leaders if there is a message and if there is a target that it is done. So I've seen that even at the time of President Nasser, that he was a charisma, and he was talking on behalf of African nations to have the liberation and so on. So he was a leader for the Egyptians, so the Egyptian people have followed him. This has also happened with President Sadat and happened with President Mubarak, and at the end now we see that as I mentioned in 2013, I mean, all the Egyptians have rallied after President Sisi at the time when they refused to lose their identity and their personality in a way or another. And that's why I think with this feeling and this spirit between the 73 victory war and what happened in 2013 is that it is the same way, that we are always behind our leaders who have a strategy, who we feel and we trust that he is really is going to improve the nation. So we work together. And we remember that in the first speech of His Excellency President Sisi, he said that I cannot carry over the responsibility of Egypt by myself. You have to help me. And that's why people was very close to him, and he is always talking to them. And at the end we see that projects which should have taken longer time, it was done in a very short time. I mean, we cannot count in even 1 or 2 or 3 programs, TV programs, the projects which have been done. It's really very big, and as I mentioned, that any fair person have to say that, of course, the situation of or the future of Egypt have changed a lot. We have seen improvement even in the services, in the airports, in the ports, seaports. I mean, improvement in the roads, in the city, in the infrastructure in general. I mean, of course, this all is giving an upper standard of living for all Egyptians. And of course, we are talking about the construction field. It needs a program. If we talk about
And I would like to focus, because we only have 2 minutes left, I would like to focus on one thing that you have mentioned at the beginning of the episode, the identity of the Egyptians. Not just about building roads, building bridges, having tunnels, having a new cities, a new capital. It's about building the Egyptian identity as well, which is focused upon by a new program. You mentioned one of them. We have a lot of programs to be speaking about. Bidayah, or a new beginning, a new start for the Egyptian identity, to be building capacities of the Egyptians. In a nutshell, how do you see the importance of regaining the Egyptian identity?
Well, let me tell you that the identity of the Egyptian was based that you are always a person who cannot accept unfair solutions. That's why we feel that all the Egyptians really nowadays are to the side of our neighbors who are attacked, because this is not our philosophy or our feeling. So the dignity of the Egyptian refused to be occupied, and that's why we were so patient for 6 years, and this of course was said by President Sadat, but at the end we have to reach our victory. So the dignity of the Egyptians, that we will never lose our land or our identity or personality, because Egyptian people have been always among the history of the civilization, was a core for everybody. Nobody have changed our personality, even with a lot of occupations. We have been occupied by most of different civilizations, but we kept our civilization. This is the identity of the Egyptian.
Yes, Engineer Mostafa Naggari, the economic and development expert. Thank you very much for being with us tonight on the Daily Debate.
Thank you.
Anytime. And this brings us to the end of the Daily Debate for tonight, on a special episode celebrating the 51st anniversary of the 6th of October war victory in 1973 against Israel. But I will be leaving you, however, with a report about the latest presidential activities of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi over the past week. All in the upcoming report. Stay tuned. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.